Stop going off that. I don't want to be on that. Surprised that nobody's here yet. How about you?
Okay. Before anybody else comes on, I have to ask you, are you still knitting socks?
Not right at the minute, but I am still knitting socks. Yeah.
Okay, because my sister-in-law sent me 2 different colors of sock yarn, 5 skeins each, and I don't do socks. And I would happily pass these yarns on to you if you would like to add them to your stash.
Add them to my sock stash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll send you an email with pictures of them. You can
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I have so many things piled up to knit yarn with that, you know, that it's like I can't even begin to think about socks at this point.
It's like, it's daunting, isn't it? I mean, it's like so fun to start something new and then, but
I have all these half-finished projects, you know, and it's like, okay, I have to get these done now. I have to go back, and all this yarn that's left over, I have to find something to do with it before I go do anything new.
Yes. Susan, I can see that Susan Millinger is coming.
Okay.
And were you able to log on easily?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Just use the link from your email. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I've been muted from last meeting.
There you go. Okay.
I'm feeding Cat. I may have to leave briefly to answer a phone call because I'm waiting. I took my cat vet yesterday and she had a blood test and the vet is calling back with results.
Okay.
Which I really need to know.
Right. Yeah.
And she, you know, and it's only 5:15 and so she may be calling me yet.
Well, okay, and just tell us and we'll just pause the meeting while you take your call.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Linda. Thank you.
Susan, your video isn't on.
Oh, sorry. I'm not sure why it was off.
You were all off.
Yeah, I know.
There you are.
There you are.
And I had been, oh, well.
It's okay. We can't start anyway. We can't start anyway because
we don't have a quorum.
We need one more person.
Boy, I just got a chance to read Janice's annual report. What an excellent report.
Oh, I know, huh?
Brilliant. Yeah.
Herself. She's a really good writer at the best of times.
Yeah.
She is.
That was really nice.
Oh, there. Let's see. Here comes Susan Gomberg on the phone.
Hello.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Hello.
I spent some time dialing the ID number, thinking it was a phone call because it had the appropriate digits, but I eventually got the right one. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Susan. It's Susan.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, Susan. It's Joanne. Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy New Year,
Yeah,
Joanne.
well,
Happy New Year, everybody. And they did vote for impeachment.
Yay.
Good.
Oh, I was busy and I missed it.
Yeah,
Did many Republicans end up voting with the Dems?
10.
10.
Oh, good.
Yeah, well, out of 200, I mean,
I know, but there were, it was only 5 this morning.
yeah, right.
Well, I keep thinking, I hope Uncle Joe is up to it. I feel bad for him.
What a
Yes.
mess, what a mess to step into,
Just remember you're being
Yeah.
recorded.
Are we being recorded now?
Mhm.
Okay,
This one, we're not nonpartisan. It's not like having these conversations at the league where we realize all of a sudden, whoop.
Yeah, no, I just want to remind you.
Okay,
And Janice hasn't come yet, but we can go ahead and get started if you want to. Only because we know we need to be finished by 6:45 at the outside.
right. Okay, what time are we?
5:19?
Okay,
Okay.
So we'll call ourselves to order at 5:19.
Okay.
And
I'm ready.
okay, Linda, again, I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
oh, I do. Okay, I've got it in front of me, and I just want to admit Janice. So we'll just wait for her to show up.
We have to have some kind of roll call, don't we? Do we have some sort of roll call at the beginning of the meeting to indicate who's here?
Sure, we can do that. Linda Ava Scott,
Joanne Bernhardt,
Susan Millinger?
Susan Gomberg.
Janice Gray just got here. Sorry, I was having some trouble.
okay.
all we did was open the meeting. That's it.
Okay.
We saw you were coming and we paused waiting for you. So
Thank you.
the next bit is on the 12:09:20 minutes. 12:09:20 meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve? Hello.
I so move.
Gomberg, I second.
Okay, is there any discussion, comments, anything about the 12:09 minutes?
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank
Very
you.
well done, Susan.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Susan. All right, so roll call vote. Joanne,
Aye.
Susan Millinger,
Aye.
Susan Gomberg,
Aye.
Janice Gray,
Aye.
and Linda Ava Scott, aye. Okay, the next item is a financial update. I just want to give you the latest on where we are, what we have spent money on since our last meeting. So we spent $400. These were pre-approved expenses, $400 for the series of Qigong classes, $165 for strength training classes by Jay McWilliams in December, and $120 for December foot care home visit. So that's a total of $685. So our current
Here we go.
remaining grant balance is $1,494.64.
All right.
I'm sorry. How did we go from 34 in December?
Yeah, yes, it looks like Gail made some sort of minor correction to the cents in our account.
Okay.
So that's how we are now, this is adjusted to be correct to match what Gail has, and the dollar amount is correct from
Okay.
her records and our records, so we're good. So that is the end of my report, other than to say that we still do have $200 in our expense line.
Mhm. And we will still be getting $6,000 from the state.
Yes,
That hasn't come in yet.
correct. We haven't, I have, I, nothing, I haven't heard anything from Becky yet, regarding that.
Mhm.
Again, that'll go to the select board for signature, but because I'll be at the meeting, I'll know. Okay, so for clinic update, as I said, there were 3 home visits. I didn't say that, but there were 3 home visits that resulted in a contribution from the grant during December.
Mhm.
Over to you, Susan Gomberg.
Okay. 2 issues. We've gone over them before, and I'll start with our participant from Amherst, and I'll call her Sally, not Sally Fairfield. But Sally is our Amherst lady, and I found out recently that she's been having her feet done every month, as opposed to the every other month, which is what she was doing before. This started with just a comment from the foot care nurse to me about Sally, and Susan has been very good and twice said to me over the course of this time since the pandemic started that did we know Sally lives in Amherst? And I did say we did. But then I did find out that she's been having it done every month. I don't know 100% that she's using the subsidy every month, but I believe so. I did call her just to verify that, and she said yes, and and I said why, and I got that. Well, David Dan let her, and et cetera, et cetera. But I guess I feel that we should no longer pay a subsidy for her, to a Shutesbury subsidy for her foot care. I did talk with email the Amherst woman who's in charge of foot care. They also do home visits. The senior center is not open, and they were trying to get a hold of foot care by nurses. So I just gave them our contact numbers, which is what they had. And in my second email with her, they had gotten in touch with them. So Sally can continue with foot care by nurses through Amherst. I don't know if they offer subsidies or not. And I don't know, does it require, a vote from us? I'm happy to call her and just say what we've done, if this is what we choose to do, because twice I've heard from her recently and then a long time ago that David Dan also told her that, she would get bumped out by Shutesbury residents. So I think, it wouldn't be a big surprise to her if we did decide not to subsidize her any longer. We're not cutting her off from foot care.
Good job.
Yeah.
This is Janice speaking.
Susan
So is
agrees.
So would people be okay with me just having a conversation with her?
Yes,
Um,
please. I
Yes,
would,
I think-
Susan.
do you think, how do you feel about making a policy that we would not, we would not use our grant funds to subsidize an out-of-town foot clinic client?
I think that's an excellent idea.
Then it's, not just this particular person.
Right, right. I see what you're saying. Sure.
It's not
That sounds
personalized.
right. It's more official.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would anyone like to make a motion? If you are interested in making a policy?
I would, but I don't know how to phrase it.
Same here. This is Janice. However, I think that, it should have been an unstated policy all along. So I don't think it's a big deal. It's good to codify it. But
I think,
know.
I think we assumed it was an unstated policy.
Yeah.
Except, yeah.
Except that it wasn't a concern until until the home visit situation.
Right, yes.
Okay, I'm ready to propose a motion. You ready for a motion? That
Yep.
COA adopt a policy that only Shutesbury residents receive subsidies for the foot clinic.
I second the motion. And that was
I-
Gomberg.
This is Janice. Can I ask a question?
Yes,
I don't know if this is called, there's some procedural term for it.
right. When the motion is made and seconded, then there's discussion.
Okay, so this is discussion. I'm
Mhm.
just curious. And I'm just taking this to the logical conclusion in my brain, which may be unfair. Is there any reason why we should not also say that the foot clinic is for Shutesbury residents? Do we want to open it up to out of town folks? Maybe that's being petty and I should just back away, but I'm just trying to figure out what the reasoning is.
Well, I think under these circumstances that we're in now, this person is not taking up a slot at town hall for the foot clinic because that's not happening.
Right.
Um,
In the future.
right. So, oh, I see. It's a different question. Yeah. Is this the only anomaly that we've had with out of town people?
Yes.
As far as I know a while ago, I believe, Linda, you got a call from someone in Amherst who wanted to come up here, but you kind of said, no, thank you.
Correct. I referred them to the Amherst Senior Center.
And the Amherst Senior Center, how are they pursuing things now?
Home visits only,
Mhm.
and they're, I guess, going to get in touch with foot care by nurses, possibly because they need more nurses going out. I don't know.
And is that, of course, foot care by nurses in Greenfield is Franklin County. Is it by county or is it?
I think they
It's
go
all-
I think they go all over. I don't think they're not restricted to Franklin County. In fact, I know a person in another county that gets a home visit from foot care by nurses.
Okay.
Yep.
So really, there's no reason for this person to continue in Shutesbury other than that she started here. But
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She can make, it seems, I think, well, the motion on the table right now is that Shutesbury Council on Aging grant funds would not be used to subsidize non-Shutesbury residents. So that's the motion on the table.
okay.
I'm willing to withdraw that motion and provide, I don't know what you want to call it, a substitute motion at this point, a motion that says COA clarifies that only Shutesbury residents are to be accepted as foot clinic clients.
I know this is Janice. I know I'm the one who threw this out there. So that sounds harsh. And I'm just asking, I'm not advocating necessarily one way or the other, but it just seemed odd.
Well, it's odd that anybody thought that they should to come up to Shutesbury.
Well, that was our, David.
Yeah.
So
We could always add unless the circumstances are exceptional. Unless in exceptional circumstances.
But the other towns in the area, even in Franklin County, I mean, like New Salem and Wendell, and they all have the same grant money that we have. And they're all probably in the same circumstance of not being able to do very much. So if someone from a place other than Amherst, like if someone from New Salem, they have their own access, I think.
right, and so does Leverett, and
Yeah.
So it's not like we're the only show
Game in town.
around.
Yeah.
But all of the foot clinic things have been subsidized unless people pay full price, which they rarely do. So even when people were in the town hall, they were subsidized, right?
Well, at that point in time, and in the town hall, the Foot Care by Nurses was charging us $35. And many people contributed the $35. Wouldn't you say, Susan G?
They put the money in the envelope, and I never paid attention to it
Yeah,
that
I
much,
mean,
so I
I
don't
would
know.
see the checks because I had to process them. So
Yep.
I would see that the vast majority of people paid the $35 donation. So Susan's made a motion. Is there a second?
Can you repeat the motion, please?
COA clarifies that only Shutesbury residents are to be accepted as foot clinic clients. And I'm willing to add, except in exceptional circumstances, if you want me to.
That does cover it.
You want me to add, except in exceptional circumstances?
What would an example be, says Janice.
Right. Somebody, well, if someone had a senior family member come to stay with them,
That would be exceptional
that
circumstances.
would be an exceptional circumstance. And that, might be something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I would think that would be an exceptional circumstance.
Agreed.
Okay, so second, I'll second the motion.
Gomberg, I second.
Oh, okay, Susan G seconds. All right, are we ready to vote? Or is there any further discussion? Okay.
Okay,
Joanne?
Bernhardt, aye.
Janice Gray, aye.
Susan Millinger, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
And Davis Scott, aye.
Thank you, folks.
And so the next bit of business about the foot clinic is, now that we've resolved this piece, the next bit is accepting new clients.
Oh,
And on that issue, it happened in December that someone received foot care who is not on my list of 17. I don't know how she found out about it. Perhaps how she, I don't know, did she just call up the office and say, I'm in Shutesbury, so they put her down as a foot clinic member, or did she know someone who has, gotten my email or my phone call? When Sue Miller was doing her feet, which was before me, in December, this woman also mentioned she had come to the foot clinic years ago.
oh.
But it brings up we've had this conversation before about opening up the foot clinic to new people. Some problems, I've thought about this. First one is how to let people know. And I don't know if there's a newsletter of any kind coming up. Town Announce, Shutesbury Next Door, Facebook, whoever's on that, I'm not. And then the other issue, if they come as a new client to Foot Care by Nurses, I believe it costs $120, not the $90, which is the full price for the visit.
Oh,
and
my.
that led me to think, if somebody decides to join our foot care services, who knows if they call up the office, does the office know that they're new? Sue Miller does not know how much to charge, I believe, when people show up. I don't know that for sure. The office may tell her, you're getting a new client, you're not. I don't know, but I don't know what to do about that. So it's how do we open up, and who worries about how much it costs?
So does it cost? I'm confused about the price now.
A new person, new to Foot Care by Nurses, has an initial visit which costs more than a regular home visit.
90 versus 120 versus 90.
But after that, it's back to 90?
Yes, they would be then a member of Foot Care by Nurses Shutesbury, so then it would be 90 for a home visit.
Okay.
But it's the initial visit which is more.
Mhm.
I would be tempted to suggest that the person pay the difference for that initial visit.
Can't do that
Why can't we?
because we can only accept donations. We cannot.
Well, I mean, ask for a donation.
Right,
Well,
right. So all the current participants know because Susan has communicated with them. But so 2 things. I have 2 thoughts. One, regarding how we can do a town announce, and there is an upcoming issue of the winter Our Town newsletter. We would not use Nextdoor or Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's basically essentially a town.
Mhm.
The select board prefers that Nextdoor not be used because it is a commercial venture.
Well, and Nextdoor now has gone out to Amherst and Pelham and other places that,
Right.
so.
Yeah,
It
so we would do,
could be limited. It can be limited just to Shutesbury, and in the past I've seen things from Becky on there.
not directly,
anyway.
not a town announce, no, not on Nextdoor. Becky does not post, so it's.
It
we
could
do
be
not-
somebody
Yeah.
I think posts it for
Somebody cuts and pastes
refers
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, nevertheless, so those would be methods of getting the word out. And then we could communicate if we decide, then I would be happy to communicate with Vanessa Eastman at Foot Care by Nurses because she handles the accounting part, and asking her to, somehow we can decide if it would be letting Susan Gomberg know there's a new person, and that we could figure out with her how to navigate that territory, whether you know um, how the subsidy information gets communicated to the new person. Susan M.
this is Susan M. I have a little concern about an open door because we might end up at the end of COVID with more clients than we could comfortably fit into isn't that a possibility? I mean, do we have a maximum number of clients? Can we infinitely expand the number of clients we serve?
I think because I'll say it, when people are being good and come every other month, at the most, some people come once and then don't show up for 4 months. Some people once every 3 months. Some people just once. And then if we have a waiting list, I don't know the maximum number, but we see 8 people once a month. And that, for the most part, juggles out fairly well. But I don't know. I know what you're saying, and I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, it's hard to think back to in-person foot clinics. And it seems to me that there is a possibility of our having more people, more clients for in-person. We're certainly not seeing this for home visits. There's certainly not the number of people that would be coming to the clinics, receiving home visits. Did I say that in an order that you could understand?
Well, with the monthly clinic, it was say 8 people a month, and I think Sue says she usually sees 1 month has 5, and then the following month usually has less.
Yeah.
So we're not seeing as many people as we did in the town hall.
And we
it doesn't
don't
answer
know.
your concern.
Yeah, and we don't know if part of that is somehow finance. And that's another concern that I have, that some people might not be asking for appointments because of financial concerns.
It did happen in December that one Shutesbury resident canceled her appointment because she couldn't afford it, and Sue was very upset because she couldn't convince this person that she could get it covered for free. That person didn't want to take advantage of doing that. So there is money issue out there.
There's probably also a COVID issue, yes? Of people not wanting somebody strange in their house.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean, we don't, there's a timeliness to this because there is there is a newsletter coming out in
When we
February.
were at the town hall, and it was well known about the foot clinic in the whatever year or couple months since I've been doing it, it's not like we had 20 people beating down the door each month. There were sometimes more people wanted to come, but those were usually the ones that wanted to come every month. I think if we send it out in a general announcement, I don't know. Perhaps initially we'll get a flood of people, but I think it would settle down.
Can we, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. Can we ask people to call Sue Gomberg? I don't know if putting out your phone number is a good idea, is what I'm saying, but without referencing calling Greenfield, so they don't sign up on their own without us knowing about it.
If you're a new member, if you want to join the clinic for the first time,
Yeah.
yep, they could call me.
Or they could call and leave a message on the COA phone number.
Oh, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or send an email. I mean, I check the messages and the email once a week. So if that would make it so people are not calling you personally, Susan, then I would just refer,
Yeah.
when I talk to them, I'll take their contact like we would normally do. I would take their
Right.
contact
Yes.
information and pass it on to you, and then you can reach out to them.
Sounds good.
Mhm. Yeah, and
I think
then
there's a lot of
that would stop people from going directly without us knowing about it. And then when you talk to them, you can explain that the first
Right.
visit is $120 and would be subsidized by $60. Is that correct, Linda?
I'm so sorry. I was
That
writing
the
notes.
first visit would be $120 that would be subsidized by $60. So they would need to pay $60 for the first visit, and then
We can't.
They need to donate.
We can say a suggested donation is. We
okay,
cannot require them.
okay,
We cannot. We can say that a suggested donation, we would request a suggested, we suggest a donation of $60. If you would like to contribute more, that would be great. If you're unable to, Susan's going to have to, feel people out in that respect.
but I
I've
mean, I don't
got the
think we can
pattern.
afford to pay $120 for a lot of new people. I mean, maybe we can, but
I'm
Yeah.
not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that. I'm saying that if Susan Gomberg gets the sense that it's a hardship case, then that's different. You know what I mean? We don't, my
yeah,
concern is that people are not going to get what they have there. If there are people out there who need services and they're not getting them because they don't have the money,
right, yeah,
that doesn't seem right to me, that only the people with money get the service.
agreed, yeah.
I suspect we're not gonna get a lot of takers, and it wouldn't bother me to pay the whole shebang. Because how much is it gonna be? Not that much, just the first visit. That
Right.
extra.
Right. I mean, at this point, technically speaking, if we got 10 new people, but,
We won't get that many.
highly, what,
That would, yeah, that would still work.
So the cost of a new visit for a new person is $120. We would ask a donation of $60. If you can afford more than that, that would be great. But we would subsidize what you can't pay.
Yeah.
Is that the line?
yes.
And if you can't afford, I'm losing it.
Well, it's sort of, like, how when you talk to someone, you tell them, this is how,
Right.
I'm, you'd be introducing yourself. I'm, following up on their email or their phone call to the Council on Aging, and explain a little bit about what a home visit entails, because you'll know what it's like. And that the initial home visit is longer than a regular visit, and the cost is 120. And then we suggest a contribution of $60, and then you see, and that, more is greatly appreciated, that we subsidize the balance with our grant. And then you'll know how they respond. Oh,
Right.
oh, that's, what would you feel comfortable, what would you feel comfortable with? And then,
Yeah.
and then
Okay.
you would refer them to Foot Care by Nurses to make their appointment. And so then it's back in their court
Right.
to
Sounds
the
good.
decision to follow through with getting an appointment.
Right. I'm remembering one current participant that I called when we went up to $90. She shrieked $90 and just about hung up the phone on me before I could tell her our plan to kind of subsidize that.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah. So, so what do folks,
Okay.
are we good? I mean, do we,
This is Janice, and I'm a little confused. I just want to make sure I understand. So the $120 is not what the Council on Aging is being charged by Foot Care for Nurses. It's what the client is being asked to pay. And we're offering to subsidize $60 of that. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
But if the client can't pay the $60, then I guess we would be paying the $120 for the initial visit, right?
Mhm. Or some portion thereof, because we would ask if
Right.
they could please contribute something, if they could please
Right.
donate something.
Right.
And just for perspective, there are currently clients who we are subsidizing at $60
Right.
for the $90 regular home visit.
And the client is making up the 30?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wasn't quite clear on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to say the cost is 120, the question that came to my mind, because I was confused, is the cost to you, Joe Blow, is 120 versus the cost to the Council on Aging is 120. And if you can contribute toward that, we'd appreciate it. So that's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's
Right.
a mutual situation. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm
Okay,
glad we're able to go forward.
Does
Okay.
this need a motion or are we, or what?
Um,
Just another thought, which is, do we offer these subsidies forever? Our current plan is through March, so
Yes.
I'm guessing we'll discuss this again in the future.
Yeah.
And going forward, however long, we'll come up again.
Ooh.
Mhm.
And if we go into this detail in a newsletter, we have to say something like that. We don't want to suggest that the subsidy is forever.
Right, this current program is running through March.
Yeah,
Okay.
because the newsletter will be out in February,
Yeah, so.
late
Right.
February, mid-February. So
So
it's like, hurry now, get it while it lasts.
we could put, we'll put it in the newsletter, but I can also compose a town announce. If it's okay with everybody, I could compose a town announce with Susan Gomberg, and then I could put that out because that would be more timely.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
Anna says yes.
Joanne? You
Okay,
good with that?
yeah.
Okay.
So Susan's question about a motion,
Mm.
have we decided whether or not we need a motion on this?
I don't think we do. Gomberg.
I'm, anyone? Anyone?
Okay.
I don't, I think we're okay. Do you, Joanne?
It goes along with the subsidies that we've already been giving.
Yeah.
It's just more of a clarification of that, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Well, except from the get-go, we were just saying this option was only available for people who were existing clients.
Right.
Yes.
yeah, so this is a policy change, actually.
It's actually the put care by nurses policy change.
Right.
They were the ones that, they were the ones that said, current members
Right.
when they
That's
were giving
true.
a subsidy,
Okay.
and they're no longer doing that.
Oh.
Aha.
Right, they were giving the their original subsidy was to existing clients.
Right.
Right, okay, Thanks for that clarification. So, Susan G, I may not have time to get to this until the beginning of next week, depending on the next couple of days, but I'll, email you and we can go back and forth on the town
Okay.
announce. And then we can use a
Okey-doke.
similar announcement for the newsletter. Okay. Phew.
When
We
does
did
the
it.
newsletter have to be in?
The articles to the newsletter need to be in by,
29th.
thank you, January 29th.
And the idea is that they'll be to the printer, because this is going to be a hard copy again, outsourced. I think it was February 15th.
That's our goal, to have it to the printer by then.
Yeah, so sometime like the third week of February, be showing up in people's mailboxes, we hope.
Fingers
That's why
crossed.
the March thing made me go, uh-oh.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's later than it usually is because of COVID changing timetables all over the place.
So if this isn't going out, if the newsletter isn't going out till like the third week of February, and this is only, we're only doing this through March, maybe we should just put it out on town announce and not put it in the newsletter, because by the time the newsletter comes out, it's going to be a lot later for people to get the information.
Or maybe we should decide tonight whether we're going to extend it past March.
Well, that depends on when town hall will open, which I don't think we have any idea about now, do we?
No,
So it could be,
no discussions about opening town hall.
so it could be said that we will be continuing this until town hall opens, or if we want to have a shorter date, a certain sort or another cutoff date.
Yeah,
I-
well, yeah, until town hall opens probably makes sense.
Yeah, it
And-
does to me. Are we all good? Are we good with that?
Um,
As opposed
In-
to now we're previously saying March.
Well,
we had said March.
Right. So the thought is to just say, just to take a time off of it.
I'm reluctant to say until town hall opens because we don't know how town hall is going to reopen.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It may
Yeah.
open only for specific appointments,
Mhm.
for people to come in, to do whatever. See Ellen for taxes if her space is created in such a way that people could do that. We don't know. And
yeah,
when is it going to open up for meetings? We don't know. We just don't know how.
So what if we said until June? Unless before that time, town hall opens to foot clinic again.
Can we postpone this to the next meeting? Only, I'm just concerned that it's 6
Yeah.
and we have other agenda items, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Susan Millinger, because it's a worthwhile discussion.
I think if something went in I would hate to lose the upcoming newsletter.
Yeah,
I think if something went in the newsletter and a brief statement went in a town announce, I think it'd be okay just to kind of go with whoever. Let's see what happens, because we would have the March meeting if we all of a sudden, 25 people called me demanding appointments. I don't think so, but there might be people who really need something, and talk to them in February, and they could get a March appointment, because they don't always have to have the appointment with Sue Miller. They can have other nurses. But I guess I would hate to lose the newsletter time. Unless is there a separate newsletter that comes out for town meeting, which is what, May?
that annual town meeting is technically now the last Saturday in April.
Oh yeah.
So that's not, the select board as recognizing that it most likely will not happen then, because again, we can't be inside. And so they may be waiting till a later date and having it outside or some sort of other alternative venue. So that's still, that remains to be determined. I mean, we could say, based on Susie Millinger's observation, if you're all comfortable and we don't want to lose and I know I said we should stop this, but if we wanted to just say through April, May, I mean, we could just say through April for now.
Mhm.
And that just gives us an additional month.
yeah.
Let's go with that. Sure.
Okay. Everybody?
Mhm.
So Linda and Susan Gomberg will put together a statement for town announce and give it to Janice for the newsletter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along.
Yes. Okay. Do you want to take let's take the annual report next.
Oh.
How about it?
Janice. Yay! Thank you so much.
I did find a couple more typos, and I just want to clarify in case, because I know I was asked by one of you this in an email. when I say under the med ride, that names to come, I'm referring to the names of the drivers.
But
No.
I don't think we need the names of the drivers.
Well, last year we did name the drivers, sort of as an acknowledgement. Now, if you don't want to name the drivers, we don't have to.
Okay, Linda,
Uh,
I,
Do
I
you
emailed,
remember who the drivers
well,
are?
I emailed Elaine
Oh, good.
and asked her if she remembered who the drivers were for fiscal year 20. I gave her the names of those we listed for fiscal year 19. And obviously, David Dance, sadly, is not one of those names anymore.
Mhm.
But
Right.
I reminded her of who the others were. I
Yes.
have not heard from her.
Oh, so that was the perfect thing to do because Elaine maintained a spreadsheet.
Right. But I didn't think of this until the other night when I was writing the darn thing. I said, oh, last year we named these people and thanked them.
Right.
And so she hasn't had time to look at it yet and doesn't, and it's just for the end. I don't mean just for the annual report, but it's not like this has to go out tomorrow.
No.
So that's something that will come.
Okay, perfect. Yes, yes, because it is from,
Paul, a year ago,
Yeah, that's the trouble. We're not talking about this year.
right?
no, we're talking about July 1, 2019.
Right.
So we have July, August, September, October, November, December, January,
Right.
February. 8 months, right?
Right, and there were only 3 people and 10 rides, so it wasn't
Right.
I mean, I was one of the drivers, but I don't even know if I drove anybody. Leslie Luchonik,
Andy Fairfield.
Andy Fairfield. I don't know.
Robert Wu
Elaine-
was one of the
well,
drivers in 2019.
Elaine was a driver.
Who?
Elaine.
Oh yeah, I said,
Elaine.
I wrote to Elaine and I said, Elaine, besides yourself,
Okay.
who, I know you were a driver in FY19. Here are the other drivers.
Mhm.
Because it's a nice thing to mention them.
It is.
That's all.
It
And we're
is.
taking too much time on this, but
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to explain. I was not talking about naming the patients.
No.
No, I knew that. We
Yeah.
knew that. And so thank you,
Mhm.
Janice, for very thoughtful and meaningful report.
Yeah.
I did ask you a question in a comment, which you may not have been able to see depending on your software, which was, are you also, I get confused with what the hats, I'm talking to Linda now, about what hats you wear. Did you coordinate, I know you work with Susan G on the foot care stuff. But what
Oh.
about MedRide? Were you co-coordinating that with Elaine?
I helped, Elaine and I managed the med rides together because I would receive the emails or phone
Right.
messages.
Okay, so you should
um,
be named there as well.
For med ride, but for Foot Clinic, it was Susan. I did the finance, I just did the deposits, which would really be part of my, I did that as just volunteer and.
Okay, I will clarify that unless
Yeah,
if you
I
don't
don't-
want to
I
have to
don't
see
need-
the minutes again. I mean, not
didn't need
minutes,
credit
report
for
again.
that.
Okay. Annual report. Okay.
Really a great report, Janice.
It
Thank
is.
you.
Yay. All right, so it basically, okay, so to go back up to the village neighbors request, I forwarded all to you all, if you've had a chance to see it, the email from Adam Frank, who is our new Executive Office of Elder Affairs grant contact person. And did everybody have a chance to see that?
Yes.
No, I didn't
did.
see it. Sorry.
Oh,
Came in
it's
late,
all right.
yeah.
Basically, what he says is, I wrote to him about Village Neighbors' request, and whether that using grant funds was appropriate. And he said, as of this year, Elder Affairs no longer restricts councils on aging on how to spend the formula grant money. So the only thing you need to consider is whether donation is okay with your town laws and regulations. Prior to writing to Adam Frank, I had written to Gail Weiss, and she said, no problem with our revolving funds and budget, which of course, those weren't the funds we were talking about using. She said, as long as it does not go to a religious group, and that is, she references the anti-aid amendment. If you're using state contract funds, state funds contact your state advisor to make sure it is an allowable use. So it's an allowable use according to the state. Um, so the question is whether we want to or not.
I think since we did talk about the fact that Village Neighbors is providing or can provide services that we can't, in terms of their volunteers helping people. Um, so, and I did, I think, note before that Nancy Spittle and the COA of Windle gave them a $500 a year donation. And I think that would be appropriate.
We're having a little trouble hearing you, Joanne.
No,
So
you're soft.
Okay. I said the Windle COA gave Village Neighbors a $500 a year donation. I don't know if it was a one-time thing or if it was an every year thing. But I think a $500 a year donation from the Shutesbury COA would be appropriate because Village Neighbors does a lot of hands-on things that we can't do.
Does everybody know they have a new repairs group? Quite a big group with a lot of Shutesbury people in it who are going to Village Neighbors members and doing home repairs of various kinds, which is really a great service.
it is.
No, I didn't know that.
Sounds familiar, maybe.
It's in the most recent, I think it's in the most recent newsletter of VN.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Shall we make a motion if we're interested?
Joanne?
Right, I move that the Council on Aging donate an amount of $500 to Village Neighbors on an annual basis.
I'll second the motion. Discussion? I have a question. Do we want to wait until we have our new allocation?
I don't think we need to say when. Right?
Do we have a lot of uses for the remaining money? I know Mary Ann has a request. She sent it in to us, yes?
Yes.
And we have foot clinic expenses.
That's what clinic.
Well, right,
We're getting $6,000 that we don't have yet.
right, and we can actually go in the negative because we know the money's coming. I just wanted to, if we vote in favor, then I would, go ahead and submit the warrant to Gail Weiss, once we have the vote in the minutes. So can wait till the next meeting, actually. Once we approve the minutes, then I can attach those to the warrant. And
we could stipulate when the state grant, after the state grant has arrived. which is always usually in January. Or we don't have to say anything about timing.
Yeah, I just want to ask, that's all.
Mhm.
We don't have to stipulate, I was just asking, that's all.
No, I know.
Are we good? Should we vote? Okay,
Domberg, aye.
Okay. Bernhard, I.
Dillinger, aye.
Gray, aye.
Scott, aye. Okay.
Man, it's nice to have that piece of business behind us.
Yeah.
Been going
Yeah,
on for months, right?
yes, yes. Okay, so the other items on our agenda are our town article and town announce. So we did talk about those relative to the foot clinic. And the question is, do we want to include any other information?
I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
When I was talking to Linda, when we were doing the agenda, and she mentioned the Life Path newsletter, The Good Life, that there was an article in the December issue about a woman whose brother had COVID, and she was very far away from him. And I read that article. I would suggest that you all read it. Thank you, Linda, for turning me onto this.
you're welcome.
And at the end of the article, the last paragraph was really good. And I think it's something that we could put in the newsletter, and also something we could consider for later when things open up again. And I'll just read it quickly because I printed it out. Something to do, a list of things to do that may save you or a friend or a family member. Get a metal file box, a regular file box, or a shoe box, and put all your important papers, numbers, and addresses in it. Label the box. Make sure people know where the box is. Make sure that every person you know and love has a notarized healthcare proxy and a living will that is filled out and in your labeled box. Keep a list of friends and relatives with addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. Make sure all doctors you or your loved ones see have you or your partner or trusted family member down as an emergency contact. Make sure phones are working and Wi-Fi and internet are available. Know all the medications and pharmacies used by loved ones. Anyway, there's a whole list of things. If you go to this, you go to Life Path, go to the Good Life, and look at the December. What was it? It was the third one in December. And that last paragraph, it just has a list of things that we should all do, but particularly older people should do in case something happens and your family members or people have to come in and sort things out for you. And I think I don't know if we want to put this in the newsletter at this point, but we could write something up about this, and just remind people that there are a whole bunch of things that you can do that are really important to know if someone becomes ill, or I mean, we all have family members who are living away from us, and I just found that really helpful.
Yeah.
I know I have a next door neighbor who is a single person, and she's very worried about getting COVID. And my husband and I were talking about this and saying, well, what would happen if something happened to her? Her kids are not around, they're all over the country. Who would be taking care of her? Where would all this information be? To try and get people to think about, creating a place where all this information is kept. And it was so nicely put in this article. So I'm just throwing this out there for your consideration.
Mhm.
Thanks, Joanne.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, do you think it would be something to put in the newsletter, or is that too long, Janice? I mean, you know what's coming.
I don't actually know what's coming. I mean, I really don't. The announcement about the newsletter just came out, and I have one article from Ellen McKay.
Mhm.
I
Well,
think
this-
we could quote it. You know, if we attribute it.
To Life Path, yeah.
And what I was thinking is, while we want to be able to be a presence in our town as Council on Aging, as you said, this is something useful for anybody.
Yes, yeah, I agree. This is
Mhm.
useful, very useful information.
So I don't know how long it is. I'd have to go look at it. But it could be, since Life Path is not a private company, we can also put a link in to the
Mhm.
article.
And you can also have sort of compromise naturally of a few pieces of information and a link to the rest.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I'm not at this point taking notes saying that I will do this, that I will put it together, but I think it could go in.
yeah.
Okay, shall I try and draft something and send it to you?
That'd be great.
Okay.
Great,
Says
Joanne.
Janice, for the recording.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that'll be great. Yeah, because, yeah, that'll be fabulous.
And we could even do something, I'm thinking out loud, but because it is useful for anybody, there could be a sort of a little teaser somewhere else in the newsletter saying, see, I don't know. I haven't thought this through, but how can you prepare, see information on the Council on Aging article on page blah, 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 of use to anybody or of value to all or something, so that people will be direct and they can look at it or not, but
Right,
so that people
But
don't
they
say, "Oh, I'm not going
won't-
to
they
look at
won't
this." 'Cause-
right. They won't just say, oh, Council on Aging, I don't need to look at that.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah. I was also thinking for the future when we were talking about things Council on Aging could do for people, that once things open up again, we might be able to hold a workshop or
Oh,
something
yes.
on this, and get some information and be able to do that. And maybe even I know with a healthcare proxy, I mean, you have to get things notarized. I
Yes.
don't know if you need a lawyer. But
No,
maybe
no,
maybe
I
No,
don't think so.
no,
You
could
don't
do-
need a lawyer, no.
Grace
for a
can,
for a living will.
For a proxy, you don't. I
For a
don't know about a
proxy?
living will.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe we could get a lawyer to advise us, and then we could do something. But that's later. I'm just
Well-
throwing it out there for later.
I'm just going to throw this out. This is Janice. A good resource for this would be Dina Banish. She has links to all sorts of stuff, and she sent me some for living wills. And you don't need a lawyer for a living will, but
Okay.
you do need a notary for some things.
Yeah.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Well, power of attorney and healthcare proxy.
Yeah, that's it. Because I had to go to Grace to get power of attorney or something signed, notarized. But what I was thinking, at this workshop, you could have a notary present. I think is where you were going.
Yeah.
Susie was a notary. Is Grace a notary?
yes,
Yes, now she is.
now she is.
Okay. Well, for later when things
For
open
later.
up.
Yeah.
Great idea, really great idea.
Okay.
So the last item, I believe, is workshop report from Joanne.
Okay, I'm going to make this very brief. I listened in for 2 hours. I didn't get anything out of it.
What? I'm sorry. I forgot what.
This was the one you guys went to. The age and dementia friendly communities by Life Path. And
Wait a
uh,
second, you went to the aging friend, and I think this is the aging,
this was the 17th of December. This was the same one you guys went to.
I didn't go to that.
it wasn't the
Oh.
dementia one, because you got something out of that, Joanne. I'm
No,
glad.
it wasn't Nancy Spittle's dementia one. This is what
No,
LifePath did. It was called Age and Dementia Friendly
oh,
Communities or something like that.
I guess they're making a connection now.
And this was the person that you said came from Boston.
It was the age-friendly communities when Janice and I went to it.
Yeah.
Okay, they've added dementia into it now. Then,
So you had the same basic experience that I did.
we had a group meeting. We broke into rooms, Zoom rooms, and twice. And the questions were, what does an aging population need, and what are the barriers? And most of the people were from much larger communities who had resources, like senior centers and staff and things like that. So it was quite different from our situation. And there was, at the end of it, I was just feeling like I'm really glad all these people are participating and doing things in all of their communities, but there was nothing really much in it for us in
That sounds
terms of,
familiar.
yeah.
It sounds like they took what I went to last December, a year ago, and that Susan went to more recently, and they threw a dementia component in, which was already in there, but they may have emphasized it more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when we get off this topic, we do have one more item of business.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I appreciate that they're doing this and all, but I found nothing in particularly helpful for the Shutesbury COA.
Thank you, Joanne.
Sorry.
Thank you. Janice, maybe you have the same thing I'm going to say, but go
The
ahead.
all boards meeting.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, and then we have Marianne's,
Oh,
Oh, right, Mary Ann's request for money.
yes.
How
Oops.
come, I don't know about that.
It was an email.
Oh, it was probably my personal email. which
Yeah, I have it printed out so I can tell you.
All right,
Which one
so
do we want to do first?
Let's do all boards first.
Okay. Linda, are you on call for that as being the secretary for the board?
I'm working it.
You're working it. Okay.
Yep, I'm working it. So I'm,
So you're there anyway.
I'm going to
she
be
doesn't want to wear two hats.
Would you mind being the COA rep there?
No, I won't mind. If
Oh.
I just don't want to take it on if someone else would like to.
Oh, no, thank
Participate.
you. No, thank you.
Okay,
No, thank you, says Janice.
I'll do a, 2-minute.
Okay.
Joanne, do you want to go?
I did it last time.
Yeah.
Linda, if you want me to, I will.
I'm happy to do it. I'll be there anyway.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you
Feeling
like,
like most of the boards haven't been able to accomplish very much.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Susan would say so if she was interested. Susan?
I would have said so if I was interested. I'm most grateful to Linda for going.
Yes,
Okay,
I
Linda,
second that.
Linda, if you decide that you want me to do it, I will. Okay.
thank you. I'm happy to do it. I'll be there.
Okay.
And I know, I will, give a summation, sure. And so if you would please tell us about Mary Ann's request.
Okay, I'll read this. Strength training continues to be the class with the highest number of participants. Qigong was very successful and we got good feedback. Participants hope another session will be offered. Another 8-week series of Qigong will be $400. It says you have agreed to fund strength on Saturdays through January. To continue strength through February and March is another $480. So, and then she gives the list of dates and participants for both. For Qigong, there were 3 men and 23 women. She's breaking it down because our report that goes in has to have these figures for some reason. For strength, there were 7 men and 21 women. So 26 and 28 participants for those two things. So she's asking for a total of $400 for Qigong for a new 8-week class, and $480 to continue strength training through February and March.
800 and something.
What was the
880.
480.
strength training was how much?
Strength training will be 480.
Eight.
We already agreed to fund it through January. Have you gotten an invoice?
Not for January. I had one for December.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't pay and we cannot submit invoices until the service has been rendered.
Okay. So basically she's off asking for $880.
We have 12 something, right?
We have
Yeah,
four.
but we have 6,000 coming in.
Oh, that's right. Because
We have 1494 right
okay,
now.
that's the figure I didn't get.
Right.
1494.
And so to wrap up, we've, Mary Ann is requesting 880. We've allocated $500 to Village Neighbors, and we have for clinic.
Mhm.
So that's where we're at this point.
But you did say we can go into a negative balance?
Yes, we can. Yes, because we know that the $6,000 is coming. And so Gail will allow us to, run a little negative knowing that's coming.
But if you say that invoices go in after the service has been offered, that means it's going to be a couple of months before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. We don't give out this until, like, for example, at the end of January, Mary Ann will send an invoice for strength training for January, etc., by month. Or at
I
the
think
end of
it'd
the
be
series, like she sent, the 8-week Qigong at the end of the 8 weeks.
I think it'd be a good idea to fund both of those.
Yeah, I feel better than I did initially.
Agreed.
Okay.
So, so Susan Gomberg, did you just make a motion?
I don't think so. I was voicing my thoughts on it, but I can try.
Sure.
I move that we fund the 2 programs that Mary Ann is asking us to.
That would be $400.
Qigong and strength training.
$400 for Qigong and $480 for strength training.
Yes.
All right.
Second.
Great. And any other discussion?
Second, did somebody second it?
Yeah,
I
Joanne.
did, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Did you have any discussion? I think, Janice, you said you feel better now than you did
Yeah.
initially. Okay, so we do have to recognize that this was an unanticipated item.
Okay.
So are we ready? Are we ready to vote?
Gomberg, aye.
Bernhard, aye.
Millinger, aye.
Ray, aye.
And Scott, aye. Woo!
Okay. On a note of interest, Linda sent the letter from Mass Council on Aging, kind of a year-end thing and looking forward.
Oh, right.
And I've been all over their website today trying to figure this out, but basically things are level funded for this year, which is why we're getting our $6,000 with no problem. They don't know what the budget's going to be for next year. Because the aging population in Massachusetts overall has increased by 450,000, and the new grant sums are going to be contingent on the 2020 census, which I don't think has quite been finished yet. The amount of money per elder, which is now $12 a head, may have to be cut back. However, when I went to look at their site and saw this quite extensive spreadsheet, there are 350 towns in Massachusetts. It looks like, from what I could gather, the limit, all the towns with less than 500 elders are still going to get the $6,000 no matter what.
Okay, that's the basic.
That's what this looked like.
Okay,
And I couldn't find what I found last time, which was an actual breakdown by town, which showed where we were. I imagine we may be increasing the number of elders, but I think we're pretty sure that we're still going to continue to get the $6,000. So I don't think we need to worry very far into the future about not having that amount of money. And we can roll over what's left over at the end of the fiscal year into the new year. So we don't have to reduce the amount that we get by the amount that's left over. So I think our finances will be in very good shape from that.
thank you, Joanne.
Okay.
Update. Thank you.
So this is from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs?
This is from the Mass Council on Mass COA, Massachusetts Council on Aging.
Okay, because they're not an official body, right?
Well, they're part of the Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Oh, are they? Okay.
No, separate.
I
They're
thought they were
They're
separate.
just reporting.
Yep, they're separate. They're their own
Okay.
organization. They're very connected with Executive Office of Elder Affairs, but they're not a state agency.
Okay. And the money's coming from the Executive Office of Elder Affairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's what I could find out.
Thank you. Anything else, anybody?
I'll just send out a brief note after I talk with our Amherst lady to let people know that it's been done.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Sure.
And
Okay,
Our next meeting is February 10th.
Okay. In terms of notifying village neighbors,
So here's my thinking that once we have we need to provide, sorry, we need to provide Gail Weiss, our accountant, with the minutes or a statement from our secretary that a vote was made, the motion and the vote. In other words, that serves as the record for the request.
I did that before for you for something. She'll
Yes,
just
it
be
was
another
for
version.
For the $900 that we returned
Right.
to Village Neighbors. So it would be
Okay.
something like that. So once Susan has a chance to do that, then I would submit the warrant, and then I can ask them not to mail the check, and then I could write a note to them or something like that.
okay. Any other odds and ends?
Not for me.
Okay. Yep, so we're good. We're under the wire.
Okay.
Onwards and upwards to Cemetery Commission for me.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm going to run for it. I
Oh,
hope you all will
are.
sign my petition.
Oh, totally.
Wow.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
How do we physically do that?
I know, that was being discussed at a league event the other day, you know, how the heck are people gonna get signatures?
Right.
I
Those
know
are,
that we discussed in town hall here.
I
those
think
are,
it's being discussed in the state.
it is, this is why, this is all, I'm stopping the recording. Oh, let's adjourn.
Oh, yes.
I-
Time?
I make a motion that we adjourn at 6:38 PM.
Okay, I second. Joanne seconds.
Gomberg says aye.
Gray says aye.
Millinger says aye.
Bernard says aye.
Scott, aye.